This pile consists of aluminum cans, tin cans, water bottles, which are number 1 PETE, and number 2 plastics, which are like your detergent bottles and your milk jugs. This is what is known as a commingle pile, which means glass bottles and cans. This is processed by one side of the facility. The fiber side is processed by another side of the facility. This is the commingle line right here. This is the glass bottles and cans. As the material comes up from here, from the floor, this is the pre-pick area. This is where we take out the items that are not recyclable, such as plastic bags, any kind of trash that may be dumped in there, things that do not fit on this line. This is the first initial station of the sorting process on this line. This is the fiber side of the process. This is where we do all the paper products. This line right here will process newspaper, magazines, and cardboard and some office paper. Right here, we try to pull out the cardboard first because it's the biggest material, and then we'll take out the office paper, magazines, newspaper. This section right here is a trommel screen. It'll screen out glass, send it up this way to the glass bunkers, and we also have an electromagnet that will pull the tin cans out and send those up a special conveyor to a special bunker. This kind of helps separate out some of the fines of the glass so that way they don't contaminate the other materials that we have here. We separate our glass into 3 grades. One is mixed glass, which is all the broken pieces of glass. It's a 3-color piece of glass. And we also separate out the brown and the clear. We receive more money for the clear and the brown than what we do with the mixed. These containers are used at various points in our county. Some of them will be used to collect glass bottles and cans or cardboard. In these containers cases, they're used to collect office paper. We just recently purchased a new shredder over a year ago, started our own in-house shredding program. The dividend was we saw almost a 100,000 pound increase in shredding material that we've done from one year to the next. So as of last Friday, all of these were full of office paper, and this was shredded in less than about 5 hours last Friday. So this also gives us another source of revenue, as office paper is generally one of your higher paying commodities. Once the material is finished being sorted on the paper line, it enters onto our baler line. This conveyor takes it to a baler that compresses the material into 4-foot by 4-foot cubes at various weights. That makes it easier for us to load on outgoing trucks from the facility. This line is the last sort station in the process. This is where we remove the plastic and the aluminum cans. We have 2 different grades of plastic, the number 1 and the number 2. We have 4 people on this station picking out the various materials, placing it into the bunker. We get the plastics out first. The last material coming off of this line is the aluminum. The aluminum brings the highest price on the recycle market, so that's why it's important for us to keep it as clean as possible with little or no contamination. Now we've reached the end of the line. This is the material leaving the facility. We load everything on outgoing trucks. We ship in 40,000 pound increments. This is material being loaded onto a semi-trailer. This material will end up in Canton at this broker. From there, it'll go to either a mill here in Ohio or to a mill in America. As you can see, this is the reason why we compress the bales into nice cubes, because they'll fit much nicer inside of the trailers, and it's easier for us to load and the mill to unload when they receive the material.
The largest dirty MRF is operated by Medina County. This facility accepts 500 tons of mixed trash daily, where recyclables and other byproducts are removed before the residuals are sent to a landfill. Typically, 10 to 15% of the materials delivered to a dirty MRF are separated, packaged, and sent to secondary processors or end-use facilities to be incorporated into new products. In the case of Medina County's MRF, they also compost mixed waste and produce engineered fuels from residual paper and plastics to achieve a higher recycling rate. The waste goes up into the first sorting room, then it goes through this drum, and then the 6-inch material comes this way, and the 2-inch material comes this way. They're falling out of the bottom of the drum. This drum is 40 feet long and 12 feet high. First, all the knights inside open all the bags that come to the facility. and it also separates the 2-inch material by allowing that 2-inch material to fall through 2-inch holes, which are all over through the diameter and the circumference of the machine. Then at this end of the drum we have 6-inch diameter holes, and anything greater than 2 inches but less than 6 inches falls through those, which is predominantly cans, steel cans and aluminum cans. And then the rest of the waste that comes out this end of the drum then goes into the second sorting room where the people can pull out the recyclables that were in the bags. This particular magnet is pulling out all the steel cans. As the cans come up underneath it, a magnetic belt grabs them and dumps the cans into this container. The trash goes straight down. The aluminum cans jump over the board because the magnets at the end of that belt make them actually jump, repels them off the belt, and they fall into a container underneath that platform. So that's how we pull out cans. Steel cans with that belt, aluminum cans with the eddy current separator. On this side is where our 2-inch material is extracted from the waste stream, and this 2-inch material is taken out and back into a Class 1 compost facility where we compost this along with wood chips and yard waste for a period of about 8 months.
Ohio's scrapyards are important infrastructure to industrial sector recycling as well as to residents and small businesses. Scrapyards primarily recycle ferrous metal, aluminum, and non-ferrous metals like brass and copper. Some scrapyards will also shred automobiles and recycle other bulky materials. Scrap tire facilities provide Ohio generators with a vast network of capabilities to manage whole and shredded tires. Ohio has 31 licensed scrap tire facilities, 4 mobile scrap tire processing facilities, and 66 registered scrap tire haulers. In all, they collect and process over 11 million tires annually from Ohio generators. Construction and demolition debris recycling facilities are a developing network of facilities that can recycle wood, brick, aggregate, shingles, and other construction-related materials from non-usable materials prior to landfilling. Ohio generates over 10 million cubic yards of construction-related debris annually.
The solid waste management system is diverse and continually evolving. As the economy and global markets change, so does solid waste management. Emerging alternative technologies, as well as time-tested systems like incineration, are now making their way into Ohio. Solid waste materials, such as construction and demolition materials that once were landfilled, are now being recycled into new materials. Organic waste, like food and sewage, are now being digested for energy recovery and in some cases to produce electricity. Waste-to-energy projects are once again being considered in Ohio. Solid waste materials are making their way into power plants, cement kilns, and industrial boilers, all to produce heat, steam, or electricity. The future of solid waste management is changing in Ohio and across the nation. There are 3 main types of collection systems for trash and recyclables currently being practiced. Automated collection involves the use of specialized equipment controlled by an operator that can collect trash or recyclables from the curb or at a business. Semi-automated collection involves the use of specialized equipment controlled by an operator with some labor required, such as rolling a wheeled cart from the curb to the collection vehicle. Manual collection requires all materials collected to be lifted into the collection vehicle by the operators. There are 3 main types of processing systems for recyclables currently being practiced. Single-stream recycling allows residents or businesses to combine all acceptable recyclables into one container for collection. Dual-stream recycling requires residents or businesses to separate all acceptable recyclables into 2 categories, usually paper products and food or beverage containers for collection in 2 separate recycling bins or bags. Multi-stream recycling requires residents or businesses to separate all acceptable recyclables into numerous categories, usually newspaper, cardboard, paperboard, mixed paper, aluminum cans, bimetal cans, tin cans, plastic containers, and other materials for collection into multiple recycling bins or bags. Solid waste collection equipment varies throughout the industry.